I'm trying to figure it out. I can't do this on my phone.
Characteristics, warm, enthusiastic. I
We
know
can
that is a
we
bit
can
of a.
see you and hear you. We just hadn't started the recording yet.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out my phone.
Adrian, you were all good. We were just joking that we could see you.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Have you seen my cat yet? Because he dumped my phone over.
No,
No.
you were all good.
Your
Your
cat took a dump on you?
Thanks, Dick.
Start.
Okay, let's open this
Why
meeting.
don't you do the intro?
We're ready to turn this over to Councilwoman Lady Kilborn Emily.
Well, I like that. That was good. I like that.
Well,
Introduction, please.
good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming, or thank you for watching back if you couldn't make it tonight. Before I turn the meeting over to Jeremy to introduce himself and staff, I wanted to review the format for the meeting. So the purpose of tonight is to provide the community with information about Camp Placid, about how the program operates under New York State Department of Health regulations, and what we learned from last year's session, and what changes we are proposing for 2026. Jeremy will walk through a presentation, and after the presentation, we will open the floor for questions and comments. Because we want everyone to be able to participate, we'll limit it to one question per speaker. And we ask that the questions remain constructive and respectful.
You hear that, Jackie?
We do have one person, we have two people, yeah, so we
Yes.
might get two questions. And if we are not able to fully answer your question tonight, we will take the time to provide follow-up information at a later date. And I also want to note that tonight's discussion is focused specifically on the operation and future of Camp Placid. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jeremy to introduce, and Jeremy, if I could just ask that you introduce yourself and your staff before you start the presentation.
Sure. Jeremy Freeman, thank you, Emily, Park District Manager, online also with us. And Alicia Blaine is our camp director from last summer. Will be joining again this coming summer. Adrienne Relier is our executive coordinator, who is online, but not in the room this evening. And I'm going to share screens. I have a presentation that I'll be going through some slides. Let's do. Yep. And Adrienne, can you see the slide?
I can.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm not there.
It's okay.
Meclizine works great.
Hope you feel better. Okay, we'll get started. So Camp Placid is designed to provide a fun and safe educational experience to our campers. And because this is a child's camp within the state of New York, it is a permitted and regulated camp by the Department of Health. That is, and for those that would like to look up for more information specifically about the rules and regulations, it's in 7-2 Children's Camp. It's a subpart. And then that's made up of 25 different sections, which has rules, regulations, directions that we need to follow in order to operate a children's camp in the state of New York. And for the purposes of this discussion, as it relates to Camp Placid, I just wanted to highlight 4 of those pieces that are within those regulations. The first one is that we have a pre-camp inspection. So before we can open up and our permit be issued, we do a camp inspection. This year, as it was last year, our primary venue will be the Lake Placid High School. There'll be a period of time that we'll utilize also the elementary school during Ironman week. So after you have a pre-camp inspection, then you have 2 follow-up spot inspections during the operation of the camp. Those are at a time where we don't know when they're going to come, and they just show up and present their IDs and let us know that they're here to do a camp inspection. And so they will both kind of follow around a little bit, see the interaction with the campers, the counselors, the activities that they're doing, looking at safety procedure protocols, and so on. So we have 2 of those during the course of the summer. And the camper to counselor ratio, which is a real key factor here. And that both depends on the type of activities that are occurring and also the camper age. And so Camp Placid operates with pre-K or kindergarten through 14. And each of those different age ranges, just as general course of kind of activities at our primary venue, could range anywhere from 1 to 8, 1 counselor to 8 campers. The older groups, they could be 1 to 10, 1 to 12. So it just depends on what's actually happening at that particular site and those activities that day. We have to have medical staff that's both appropriately certified and trained. And so that was a change by New York State a few years ago, but we have to have a medical director that is an RN, LPN certified trained personnel, which we do. And we also have some additional, both Alicia and additional counselors receive first aid training, as well as all of the staff has to be CPR AED certified as well. And the last point that I'll just highlight is the trips and activities that take our campers off the primary grounds. So the high school or elementary school, they have to have often a different level of certificate or a different level of ratio, which is based on the type of activity that's actually occurring at that particular trip. So if there was something that was involving, say, water, like kayaking or canoeing, you'd have to have additional lifeguards that would be with the camp at that time, and your ratio increases so that you have more counselors or a counselor to fewer campers, just as an example. So to do a little bit of a review from last year, we'll talk a little bit about some of the positives and challenges that we had in 2025. We were able to have 120 campers at Camp Placid last year. On average, we had 12 counselors a day, and we substantially increased the number of activities and educational opportunities. We started golf clinics. We had rail trail bike rides. We did an educational session with ORTA support on bike maintenance and proper riding techniques. We had activities with the LPCA, Wild Center field trip, and a lot of other local area businesses kind of doing what they do at their business, but kind of bringing that as an educational opportunity to our campers. And also had done some hiking trips. So just to highlight a few, I mean, obviously, we had a variety of other activities and crafts and library, right. So we had a lot of different activities that happened throughout the course of the 7-week camp. Those are just a few to highlight some of those, and particularly ones that were new to Camp Placid this last year. Some of the challenges, though, that we had. We did have over 50 campers that were waitlisted. So based on the number of counselors and those ratios that we needed to maintain for the ages of the campers that we had, it meant that we had a significant number of campers waitlisted. We weren't able to hire enough counselors, obviously, in that regard, to be able to take more campers off the wait list. We had some daily attendance issues. And late arrivals and early pickups were quite a challenge. And so when we have a lot of educational opportunities or trips planned, they're usually broken out either in the morning or an afternoon session. And so if somebody's late or arriving early, they may miss that actual session, and that becomes an issue for us in terms of supervision and coverage. Really trying to limit that is really critical. We also had an issue with cancellations for, in many cases, weeks at a time. So folks that had signed up their camper to attend the camp for multiple weeks would often cancel with little or no notice that they were going to be doing that, and often had quite a few no-shows. And that affected and took away a potential spot for another camper that could have come off the wait list if we had known in a timely fashion, or if the plan for that student not to attend those weeks had occurred. So we took as many no or low fee activities as we could, as our budget allowed. Young counselors with fewer adult or older experienced counselors. So again, something that we'll discuss here in future slides, but but that was a bit of a challenge because we had a lot of new or younger counselors. And in particular, the last week, the 7th week of the camp, the mid-August week, we had a no-show or cancel rate at the last minute of 65%. So a lot of campers were no-show for that last week. So some of those challenges that I just described in the previous slide, and some of the solutions that we are working towards or I put in place for this year. So to try to manage that wait list, we're looking to increase the number of counselors by increasing their hourly pay rate. It had been previously at $16.50 an hour, and it's been increased to $20.50. And I'm happy to report that while the ad for the position has only been out for 1 week, we haven't begun review of those yet, but we've had, I believe, 23 applications already in the first week, which is quite significant and a really good increase. Obviously, it's a competitive environment for our young students in the area working in and around town. So that was something that needed to happen. It hadn't happened in a number of years, and we're already seeing positive increase. So increase in funds available to pay for activities. So while we took advantage of as many low or no cost activities as possible, some of the ones that we're proposing for this coming year, which we think would be highly interested by the campers, do come with a fee. And so some of those we tried to work with groups last year and just weren't able to come to a rate that was low enough for us. But we're hoping to be able to do that this summer. We've created 4 head counselor positions. So trying to fill that void with some more experienced counselors, hopefully teachers, maybe some college-age students that are working towards a degree in education, things along those lines. So counselors they're a little bit older, maybe a little more seasoned, a little bit more experienced to be able to both work with the students themselves, but also to help guide some of our younger counselors. And to remedy what seems to be that 7th week right before school starts, I believe a lot of families are just taking the opportunity to do things as a family. And so I think that was the driver and a large driver in that last week attendance. So this week, we're actually going to go to a 6-week program. So as you can see by the asterisks there, 4 out of the 5 challenges require additional financial support. The solution for that was to charge a $100 camper fee with a $25 reduction for siblings attending the same week. And if there are multiples, so if you have 3 children or 4 that are also attending that same week, there'll be a $25 reduction capped down to $50. So in a situation, so just to clarify that, if there are 3 siblings attending the same week, the first child would be $100, the second would be $75, and the third would be $50.
And the fourth would be 50.
And the fourth would be 50. Yeah. So a little bit different this year versus last year, because of the structure this year, the wait list is actually going to be comprised of 6 separate wait lists, 1 for each week. And so we'll be, as we are now, taking applications. I think we have over 25 applications. I think a couple more came in today, Adrian, while you were out.
Yep, we're probably right around 40.
40 now, excellent. So we'll be managing individual wait lists by week because families can sign up their campers by week, individual weeks, not for the entire summer as a cumulative piece if they didn't want to. So we are offering a scholarship program this year to alleviate the financial burden that families may feel from that fee. Families who meet the criteria that's here listed to the right. If you have, for example, if your household is 2, but your income is less than the $91,875, then you are able to get a fee waiver or a scholarship. And that is by self-attestation. So you just need to, on the registration form, say that you qualify for a scholarship, check the box. We're not asking any additional financial information. We're not requesting or requiring anything from a family other than just to say that they meet the criteria that's provided on the right.
Jeremy, can I just ask you, or Adrian, whoever feels more comfortable, to explain a little bit more about how the wait list is different from last year? How wait lists were done last year compared to this year?
Do you want to take that, Adrian, or do you want me to?
I can take it. So we were looking at last summer as signing up as a whole summer, not as on a weekly basis. So we took all the campers that we could, that needed more than 3 weeks of time out of the summer. We did wait list quite a few, that only signed up for like 1 or 2 weeks, trying to fulfill the need of people that needed, the care for the whole summer.
And that's also based on the time in which their application was submitted and is complete. So
Yeah.
it's not just receiving an application, because one of the key components to the application, as required by the Department of Health, is that we get their vaccination records. And so once the application, we have all materials, then it will be date and time stamped for when it was received.
Yeah.
And we'll look at the weeks that they're requesting, and they will go into the slot at which their time stamp got them into the list.
So if, for example, this summer, if someone only needed 2 weeks of care and 2 weeks of camp, but they got their application in next week with with their healthcare forms totally complete, they would be at the top of the list.
Correct.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And we're taking applications until May 29th. That's a Friday. So there's plenty of time.
But don't wait.
Yeah, don't wait.
Definitely don't wait.
So some of the potential new programming activities that we're looking at this year are canoe or kayaking trips, some fishing trips, instruction, stroke development, swim lessons. So maybe not necessarily somebody who's just a beginner swimmer, but somebody who maybe is wanting to advance their skill level, in teaching specific strokes, different weeks. And so campers would be able to sign up to attend one of those. Ice skating at the Olympic Center, and potentially even a trip to the Great Escape, among others. So it's just the list. So there's more things that are kind of being discussed as well. But so I wanted to provide some financial pieces to this as well, so folks can understand where that stands. So the cost to operate Camp Placid in 2025 was a little bit over $111,000, or $132.76 per camper per week, or $26.55 per day based on the 7-week program. And just as reference, that 7th week camp where we had so many no-shows and cancellations, that still cost the town a little over $11,000 to operate that week, even with only, I think, 35 campers, I think is the total that we had that week. So projected cost to operate in 2026. So we are hoping for 15 counselors at that 2050 rate. It's just nearly a full-time job during the summer, during the week, because it's 5 days a week, 6 weeks. So as you can see there, $73,800. 4 head counselors at 30, $28,800. Camp director at 35, 8,400. Medical staff, 3,500. So total projected staff cost is $114,500. The current allocated budget is $102,000. So 2 scenarios. First, just to give an understanding. So if nobody had claimed for a scholarship, if we had 75 campers, and also those campers had 75 brothers or sisters that were attending, the total funds coming in would be $78,750. And as you just saw, that wouldn't cover the current actual costs that's already budgeted. So from a budget relief standpoint, certainly would help, but wasn't the initial intent of it. We anticipate that about 70% of campers will be on scholarship. And if that were the case, the total funds coming in would be 23,625. That difference that I had shown from the previous slide was $12,500 between budgeted staff and a projected cost. And so of that 23,625, 25 or 12,500 would go to staff. The other 11,125 would go to cover increase in consumable supplies, new programming, increases in the fees associated with even some of the programming that we had this last year because of the increase in the number of campers. I will say that the projections are based on 150 campers and getting 15 counselors, plus the 4 head counselors, so 19. And based on, again, those ratios that I first discussed in the first couple of slides, that will obviously fluctuate and change the total number of campers by age range that we can actually take into the camp. But again, we're hoping we're only a week in, have 24 applicants. Can't say what their level of qualification are and how many more we'll get over the next couple of weeks, but the hope is that we could take more than 150 campers. But that was just a good round number based on what we had last year.
Well, I think
that we were putting
the
together.
hope is that we have no wait list,
Correct.
that we just take everyone that
Yeah.
wants to be here.
100%. Yeah.
So Jeremy, just for clarification, you're saying the difference between 70% of scholarship and 100% is 23,625?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So next steps for us at this point is obviously going through the applications and materials coming in from families, getting them into the weeks, scheduled into the weeks, interviews for counselors and such, but in the end to run a safe, fun, educational Camp Placid for 2026. As we did this last summer, we will also follow up with a camper and parent survey at the conclusion of camp in August so that we can elicit some feedback about kind of the successes and also some of the challenges again so that we can work on addressing those in future years. And that at least concludes the presentation portion itself.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. So at this point, we'll open the floor to comments and questions. And so I just ask that you state your name and go ahead and with comment or questions. We don't have anyone in the room. So I'm gonna go, well, you're all muted. So it's really hard to call on you. So I will.
Well, they can hear you.
Yeah,
So you just pick one.
but I don't want to pick one. What if they don't have a comment?
Raise your hand.
If you're interested in asking a question or comment, you can unmute yourself and.
Yeah, and if you all start talking at once, then I'll pick you. Anyone? And if you don't have comments now, you're always welcome to submit comments. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
I've heard that you said you could sign up for weeks, but so do families have to pay for the weeks they don't attend?
No, you only
So
pay
you
for the
commit
week.
for a week. So if you said you could go for 3 weeks, then they pay for those 3 weeks.
Yeah, for 3 weeks they signed up for.
And when, so.
Sam Butters, for the record.
Got it. So we say 3 weeks, you'll be charged, like, let's say they have 2 kids. It'll be 175 per week times 3, and then you have to pay that up front.
Adrian's gonna answer when payment is due, because that's her field.
Okay.
Sure. So I split up the due date for payment into 2 separate windows. So we're not dealing with, hounding people week by week. So the first 3 weeks are due by June 12th. And then the second 3 weeks are due by July 17th.
Question or comment from anyone else? And what I was saying is if you thought of more questions or comments, you do know the board's emails. They are also on our website. And in the chat, I'm happy to put Jeremy's email, but I'm gonna actually hand it to Jason because oh no, I'm by the keyboard. Never mind. I'm gonna do it.
And
And
the presentation.
my email, Camp Placid email, it's all on campplacid.com. Feel free to email through there. Those emails that are sent to campplacid@northelba.org also do come into my inbox. I'm monitoring that daily.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sure, so Sarah Thompson, go ahead.
Yeah. So for last year, I think maybe I'm just talking for myself and maybe a couple other parents, but I think one of the reasons for maybe some of the late drop-offs last year was because you had to sign up for the entire summer for the camp, and the drop-off times were pretty strict. You had to drop off in the morning, and it wasn't very conducive to signing your kids up for some of the LPCA camps that they were offering. So if you wanted to sign your kids up for some of their camps, which were only half a day, and then you had to then, let's say, work for the rest of the day, you then had to find some type of camp or childcare for the rest of the day. So it would help if we could then use Camp Placid for the rest of the day. So I guess what I'm asking is it an option to do a late drop off if we now have to pay this year $100? Is it an option to do a late drop off, or is that still not an option?
Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something we had specifically considered. I know that being that it's in reference to now that it's being paid, I mean, I think the challenge that we have is we'd have to have counselors then leave the group to meet that late drop off. But at the same time, we also need the counselor to be with the rest of the group and they're preparing or going out to activities. So it's a challenge for us to be able to try to do those types of accommodations.
But I think that this is probably one of the number one feedback things that we've heard is like to be able to accommodate late drop-offs. And so I think it's definitely something that we have to consider how to try to accommodate this.
I agree.
And maybe it means that if they are at an activity, that there is a counselor that's kept back for late drop-offs, which means more counselors, which means a fee.
Right.
And this is Jeremy saying we need
right. I mean, right. Well, and they need staff to do that. But if the activity is off-site, then we lose the transportation, and then so that's the challenge. If it's something that's on-site for that day, then it's less of a challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if they're going somewhere, it's like
There's nobody around.
There's nobody to take them or pick them up or greet them.
Alicia, do you have anything to add to that?
We did realize this predicament last year, and several parents did ask, and there were a lot of leniencies made. So if we were on site, then they would just call a camp phone and we would just come. But it was kind of evolving. We're learning new challenges that were coming up. And so we did meet those needs. We said, okay, like we get it.
Yeah.
You know, it's 30 minutes later, just call the camp phone and we will come down to you.
Yeah.
Some were eating lunch, some were out, in the field.
But if you were off-site, then it was impossible.
Like beach days, I
Yeah.
said, and I said that beach days were very challenging because some groups were walking over and some were coming, and it was just too much of the revolving door. And they were very appreciative of that, and
So we could, or we did where we could, is what you're saying, but it was a challenge.
At the moment, it took a conversation, so.
Right.
Unfortunately, if the parent did not say, hey, could you make this happen, then unfortunately they missed out on that opportunity. And
something we can still talk about, and if we can come up with some solutions, and or if we get additional counselors, more than what we have enough staff that we can accommodate something like that. I'm happy to look at what we could do.
Is there a timeline in which we could do that so that parents signing up would know ahead of time?
I don't have an anticipated timeline to know when we're gonna have the staff. So, I mean, I've got 24, 23 applicants right now.
Oh, sure, I'm just saying,
But,
for someone who's
yeah.
thinking about paying and coming,
Yeah.
when could they reasonably expect maybe, are you saying no now, maybe check back to see?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't say, I mean, we haven't set the schedule yet for the summer between the activities and those types of things, so.
I did,
I'm not trying, just
Yeah.
for clarity for the parents, just as of now, here's what
Right.
you are saying, and then maybe check
Yeah,
back.
where you are now. Yeah.
Go ahead, Alicia.
can I just add, like, I think having the schedule done in advance, like before even the summer began, the schedule was set.
Yeah.
So I think that is very beneficial to parents, like wanting to sign up. If you know that your camp is these couple of weeks, then you can look ahead and say, oh, they're going to Great Escape that day.
There's no way I'm gonna
Then
be
they
able
will
to.
know.
Yeah.
Right,
Exactly.
I could be able to do that, yeah.
So I think that's helpful, having your schedule out as far in advance as possible.
Yeah,
Which,
for sure.
I mean, I usually deal with over spring break, so.
Yeah.
I work on that.
So I would say, unfortunately, Sarah, we don't have a clear answer right now, but that we heard you and the conversation is continuing. Taylor?
Hi, it's Kaylee Taylor. And I apologize if you guys already just discussed this a moment ago. I had to log back in. But one of my concerns, in addition to Sarah's question, is to take into consideration summer school students. I think there might have been a steady stream of routine kids. To me, listening to you guys discuss it, it sounds like the problem is more the dropping off, one parent or two or even three or four. But there should be consideration for the summer school students as well.
Yeah, and Taylor,
Why don't
we
you jump up to the table just so that
Yes,
that's a little bit
we-
better?
Oh, sorry, Kaylee, sorry, Kaylee. Yeah, we did for summer school, we did coordinate with them to know when their drop off was. And so we did make accommodations for them so that the summer school kids could attend after class.
So are there dates or times set right now? I glanced at the paperwork, and is there a drop off time frame? Did you list that on this year's application?
Yeah, so camp is still the same time frame that it was last year, so 8 to 4 o'clock. So it's the same time frame. That hasn't changed.
Okay, so there's just not that, I mean, there was like a midday one, correct? Like 10:15?
Right, for the summer school ones, we made accommodations to do that. Yep,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
I do have an unrelated comment. I think that this presentation would be beneficial to publish for the public to view that we're not here. And there might be a better appreciation for the cost this year.
Yeah, we planned, Kaylee, we plan to share it on our YouTube channel, which Jason thinks is really funny when I say that. And,
Yeah, it'll be on the town website. And
I'll
we
have
can
it on
also post it.
campplacid.com as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
But
Yep.
you guys feel free to share it as well, to help get the word out. Santa, is there going to still be 2 drop-off times midday? Was that the answer? That there will be that 11 o'clock?
The
Like
last year, there was like at 12 or something. And it just, what happened was LPCA didn't end till 12. So I was just thinking,
half an hour later, right?
So by
Right.
the time they got to us,
It was
We were
there.
already in the
there was a
session.
lab.
Right. So
but
we
there was still a last year an option to, like, if you had a doctor's appointment or you had something else in the
Yeah.
morning, you could still come at noon, but you guys haven't. You said
Sure,
that.
right, we'll still accommodate as best we can doctor's appointments and things like that, and usually the parent, or we request that the parent communicate that directly with Alicia, so that she can coordinate that. So we'll always be flexible for like medical appointments and things like that. But it's a challenge to do that on the day where we have those other activities going on that take them away from the primary venue. So that we would have to leave a counselor back for them and stuff. And that's something we're really challenged with. So that's something we hear you and we'll definitely discuss. And if we can get enough counselors or find a way that we can incorporate that as just an automatic, we'll do that. But at this point, we're not able to do that until we really get a sense of what our numbers look like.
But I think it's important, like, once you get the sense that you communicate whatever that is. If it's like,
Yeah.
no, we can't do this, or yes, we can do this, or yes, we can do this on these days. That you're just communicating what you're capable of as a candidate.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyone else? All right, I got a closing statement. Rick rolled his eyes at me, for those who couldn't see.
Probably an attorney.
We all did.
Camp Placid has been an important program in this community for many years. Our goal is to make sure it continues to be safe, engaging, and accessible for families for years to come. So thank you all for taking the time to come and be here tonight, and thank you for your comments and questions. And thank you to staff for being here, handling this. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Jeremy.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.